welcome to my podcast. I am your host, Medusa Asad. I'm here to give fire signs a general reading for this week. Keep in mind, fire signs, this is a general reading, so it may or may not resonate with you, and also this reading will be timeless. I will be pulling energies from the past, present, and future, so just take it however it resonates, only if it resonates. Fire signs, if you're interested to see what the cards have in store for you this week, then definitely stay tuned. Okay, fire signs. So that is Leo, Sagittarius, Aries energy. We're going to start off by using the Voodoo Tarot deck to pull the external energies that may be affecting you by ways of people, places, or things, situationships, relationships, partnerships, soloships, and although throughout the reading I may pull a particular zodiac sign and may represent you, person of interest, timeline, or influence. So do check your houses if you're into that sort of thing. Make sure you read the description of the episode so you know everything you need to know. And disclaimer, I'm just a regular person who loves to pull cards and interpret it to the best of my abilities. So don't ever feel obligated to listen to anything I say. Do your own research, okay? So with all that being said, let's get started. All right, so fire signs, what's going on with you guys this week? Okay, some change is happening here. Going to be a return to the beginning, okay? And stability, okay? All right, this is great, all right? A favorable outcome for you guys this week. Okay, this is nice. Okay, a little enchantment that's going to be happening here. What's going on here? What's going on here? Okay, but then there's some confusion. A person is hit with confusion here. Okay, and that's due to a situation mishandled, due to a lack of interpretation. Okay, there needs to be a breakdown of communication here as well. Okay, and we have here as well Dr. John. Okay, the Magician card here, so it's all about will. Okay, and also too, we end it off with a little bit of failure here. Okay. So it's about accepting failure. Okay. Okay. So, let's see here. I'm seeing like a protective wall of like peace, like instilling peace and stuff like that. So, all right. Yeah. I think the best bet, is to remain cool. Okay. Remain calm. Okay. There is some victory that does take place here. Okay. And, I do see some confidence coming back around. So I feel like with this Madame La Lune here, okay, there's a change that takes place. So things come across as like really good, and then a person is hit with a little bit of confusion, and then depending on if it just feels like a perceived sense of sorrow, okay, and failure here, okay. But when I looked at the bottom of the deck, there was this energy of coolness, okay, and using calm judgment in order to receive victory here. And there was another one here underneath that, Ochosi. Okay, and that is usually about accumulation. So accumulation of ideas or resources or information or whatever in order to, and it's like making use of those things before it spoils. So, what's coming through right now is a relationship that might not work out. Like it may not seem as if it's working out long term, but it's this energy of making good use of it while it is here. Okay, and depending on how a person perceived this situation, we'll get into the tarot to see a little bit more. But it doesn't have to be a relationship. It could be any kind of connection. It could be some kind of like opportunity, right? Some kind of like attention, notoriety, being noticed. Like it feels like where something kind of happens. And it's like, okay, I'm going to have fun with this, but whether a person knows that there's like a deadline or whatever the case may be, or a person may feel like there's like this can't last forever kind of thing. Like it kind of is giving me that feeling. Okay. And so I do feel like also too that what cuts something short is the miscommunication and a situation that kind of gets a bit mishandled here. Okay. So let's see. Let's see what's going on here. All right. Let's see. What's going on here with this? All right, so we start off here with the Judgment. Okay, so Sagittarius energy coming through. Okay, so someone comes back around. Okay, or someone's dealing with someone who's come back around, who's left before with this Eight of Cups here. Okay. All right, Five of Cups. Okay, Knight of Wands. So there's some kind of intentions, right? Or a purpose behind like a person's pursuit, and there is a kind of purpose where it's like things didn't end well. Okay, so it's like if a person breaks up, and this is just an example, if a person breaks up, it's this energy of like feeling like it's the one that got away kind of thing, right? It's giving me Judy Garland, the Man That Got Away song. It's this feeling here where it's a kind of relationship. Oh my goodness, yeah, it's like A Star Is Born. So if you've seen that movie starring Judy Garland, I forgot the male character, but he was an actor at the time. He was pretty famous, pretty big, but he wasn't really necessarily being responsible. And so his notoriety and fame, right, it was like this was the part where it started to slowly decline, or it was like it was at his peak and it was like beginning to decline. And before that happened, he met Judy Garland's character. They got to he recognized that she was really talented. He hooked her up, put her in the showbiz, and then as she was rising, he was declining. Okay, and he wasn't able to properly take that, and their relationship wasn't that great. And I think he, towards the end, like, it's really sad or whatever the case may be, but the way that I don't know, it just gave me this vibe of like how Judy Garland's character, she really appreciated him for what he's done for her and appreciated the life that they had. But it was like that departure, it was like, okay, well, she was able to then continue, like, to move on and to live her life and do all that stuff like that, because, you know, he was, like I said before, he was like, it was like a downward kind of spiral kind of thing. And it, in a lot of ways, it felt as if he was pulling her down with her. And so that's why he felt like he needed to do what he did at the end, because he saw how his behavior was in a lot of ways traumatizing and affecting Judy Garland's character. And so there was a significant amount of guilt there. Now, maybe you can watch that movie to see like if this resonates or something like that. Right. But it's this energy here where it's a kind of relationship where it's like there's so much significance there, but the circumstances may not necessarily be like the happily ever after, the perfect, right? Like it just kind of feels like a person on the outside looking in, just like, I don't know how you can personally do it. It's kind of like when our like elder like relatives, right? They're still with their spouse, although they've been through, like, we know the drama, we know the tea, we know everything that's happened, but like they can still show up at family functions and they're still together, and after all these years, and they're, you know, growing old together and blah, blah, blah. Right. And so it kind of feels like that in a lot of ways. And one of the things that really kind of comes across here with this confusion card is this energy of not being able to communicate or convey what it is that a person is truly feeling or going through. So the male character in A Star Is Born wasn't able to express to Judy Garland's character how he was feeling jealousy, and he was feeling those feelings, and those feelings is what caused him to act out in those kinds of ways, right? Or whatever it was that he was feeling. I perceived it. I interpreted it as him just being jealous, right? And so in a lot of ways, sometimes we act out. And, I'm just being transparent here in regards to my own personal situations. I've been married. I've been with my spouse for over 10 years now. We've been married for 8 of those. Well, okay, maybe 6 or 7 of those years, but we've been together for over 10 years. And so he was my first partner, like my first relationship, and he's the only person I've been with. And so us having to kind of like from not kids, but like young adults, right? Teenagers at that. From teenagers all the way up to our adulthood, we had to like be with each other. And so a lot of the things we had to learn together. And the things that we experienced and stuff, it just feels like having to be with someone all the time and not be able to be free and to find individuality and all of that stuff. And we came from similar backgrounds of like our parents and how our mothers were a particular kind of way. And so we clung to each other. And in some ways it was, in a sense, trauma bonding. And we were just kind of like looking for love. We were looking for companionship. We were looking for attention. We were looking for nurturing. We were looking for all these kinds of things at such a young age that we went through a period where we wanted to be fine. We wanted to make our mistakes. We wanted to do what normal people do, right? When we are becoming, adults or young adults, or just living our lives. But at that time, we had kids. And so it was like we were robbed of a lot of being able to individually experience our own personal paths. And so there were times where we experienced resentment and blame and all that stuff like that in different parts of our relationships. And the fact that we were not able to truthfully express how we felt because it might hurt the other person or whatever the case may be. Like, how was I supposed to tell my husband, right? Like, sometimes you've smothered me for so long, and I chose you over all of my friends, and you followed me everywhere I went, and I just need some space. I didn't get a chance to experience and date other people and right? Like, it's like my whole life became you at such a young age. I gave up acting and all this stuff to be with you and we ended up getting pregnant. I had to give all these things up and be a mom and a housewife and all that stuff like that, when I don't even know if this was in the cards for me. Like, there's a point in your life where you kind of you go through these kinds of things and you start to question, like, is this person to blame for this? Or was this meant to happen all along? But as we mature and we start to understand about life and spirituality and all that stuff like that, everything happens for a reason. And my mom used to say this all the time, and I was just like, I don't want to hear that. You're not telling me anything that I want to hear. And it felt like in a lot of ways she was just making excuses. But at the time I was ignorant. I didn't understand, but I understand now. And so we go through these points in our lives where we go through certain things and it doesn't feel good. It feels some kind of way. And instead of, in those times, because like I said, I was pretty ignorant, I either internalized it, and that internalization turned into resentment, blame, wanting to blame someone, anger, bitterness, all these kinds of things. And even when we were going through our difficulties in regards to what he was struggling, I really took it personal. And instead of me just being understanding and compassionate and open to recognizing that he's not my enemy, he is my partner in this lifetime, it was just like, how could you do this to me? And all that stuff like that, right? It creates issues and missed opportunities to be able to just sit and just have open, honest conversations, that could be healing, that could be amazing, that could be, transformative. And it takes two to be able to participate, right? And so that is another thing that could be an issue too, where it's just like, I'm open to communicating, I'm open to, therapy or talking or whatever the case may be. But it's like, if the other person's not on the other side and they're open, right, that could still be a bit difficult, right? And so, but even if that is the case, it's this understanding of asking ourselves, like, okay, why is this person here? Why am I allowing this person into my reality? Why am I having this exchange with this person? And so oftentimes, right, because we're not in the business of saving others, right? We're in the business of saving ourselves, right? We have to be able to be cognizant and conscious in these waking interactions and asking ourselves these questions, like, okay, so this is what I'm going through right now. Why? Like what does this have to do for me? How is this in relations to me? Not from an egotistical standpoint, but from a perspective of healing and transforming and alchemy and all that great, gushy stuff, right? And so I feel like when it comes down to the situation, it's not that the person keeps coming back. It's this energy like, well, this person has access to you. You're allowing this person to come back in. What is the reason? Okay. And so on the other side, right, because we deal with both sides, we don't choose one side over the other. It can be, vice versa, whatever. It's this energy also too, where it's like a person, it may be wanting to deal with someone, from the past, right? And this judgment here, it could be this way that a person feels like they're a forgiving person. Like, I'm a forgiving person. I believe in chances, second chances, and I see the good in people and this, that, and the third. And so, or it may be just for this one particular person, or maybe this time around. So what is the challenge here? So the challenge here is the 5 of Pentacles here. So it's when it comes out to this particular situation, there is a level of disconnect here. Okay, there's a level of disconnect here. There's not enough information that a person can really truly gather in order to truly understand the full scope of the situation, right? So whether it's this energy of distance, right? Whether it's this energy of not having access to a lot of things, like, it kind of feels like something kind of comes back around and a person really is just like, they're out of the loop here, where it's just like, there's the confusion that we're talking about, right? So it's like, okay, why is this person here? Or why is the universe or God or ancestors or spirit or whatever it is that you believe in, why is this situation coming back again? I don't understand. Like, things are going so well for me. So what is happening here? Okay, let's see. The person really needs to, I feel like there's this need to, like, be really, really conscious here of the situation. And so what happens here, we have the moon, okay, Pisces energy. So what happens here is a person decides, so they have that question, they have that inkling, right? It's like, this is this is unexpected or whatever. Or like, why is this happening? Why am I going through this again? Or why am I doing this again? Whether it's to myself or whatever, right? The moon here kind of tells me that a person, instead of truly investigating, right? A person decides to just say, oh, I'm just gonna, it's here. So let's see where this goes. Okay. All right, so let's see. The foundation, the Magician, 2 of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles here in the reverse, the Chariot, Cancer energy, and then 8 of Swords here in the reverse. Okay, so when it comes down to this particular situation here, there is some kind of attention here. Okay, it's the kind of attention that brings about notoriety in a sense that it can kind of build, right? How a person kind of like, it's like how, like, it's like getting a person's groove back type thing. And with this next to this Two of Pentacles, it comes across as presenting something here. We're just like, look at me, look at what I can do. Like the attention is on me. He or she is giving me time or whatever, where it's just like really trying, like it's like a spotlight of some sort, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna do me kind of thing. But then here we have the Ten of Pentacles here, right? And the Ten of Pentacles, to me, it really kind of comes across as like there's no audience here. So the person has a spotlight and a person decides, okay, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to give it my all, or whatever the case may be. And it's just like, but no one's here to see you anymore. It really is giving me the vibes of A Star Is Born, when the guy is kind of like slowly decline, like his descent is happening, and he's spiraling, like his career is going down the, and he's no longer the star, he's no longer the moneymaker. There's people no longer wanting to invest in him in the movie. And so like it really feels like it really feels isolated in that sense, where it's just like, but I'm trying to understand here if a person is aware of this. Like it kind of feels like a person isn't aware of it in some, and because they're so consumed with wanting to perform or do good or do well at something. Okay, a person like really truly believes that this is it, like this is my time. But the Ten of Pentacles here, it kind of feels like in some way, shape, or form, the intent behind a person doing this, it feels like wanting to do this, wanting to give it their all, but the battery in the person's back comes from a level of doubt here, and that doubt kind of manifests itself. Okay. And so if a person is like trying to get with someone again, okay, like this, like I forgive this person, I want to try it again, and then they decide to be in a relationship with that person, there's a still doubt here, where it's just like, I don't think I can really truly completely trust this person. And so it's like, okay, well then why go back with that person, right? It's like, if you're choosing to be with this person, if you're choosing to give them a second, third, fourth, fifth chance, then you have to go into the situation. This is just my personal opinion, don't listen to me, but it's like it just feels like how can I say this? It just feels like it's a little bit unfair. And I understand where that may happen. Like, it's like, I get it, right? But it's like, if you're willing to go back and give it another chance, then you have to be open for another chance, right? Like a restart. So when a person restarts, it's like, okay, like when they're restarting in the game, their awareness of the experience that they had, right, prior is erased, right? So it's like blank slate, that kind of thing. But it's like a person is going back to a person, or going back to that job, or going back to try something again, or experience something again with like judgments already. And it's just like, okay, if you're going to forgive me, then we have to forgive each other. Okay. And I totally get it. I totally get it. Been there before, experienced it before, when it's just like, I'm going to forgive. But then it's like, I still kept my walls up. Whenever there was like an argument or whatever, I still brung up things in the past. And it's just like, well, so then what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I understand. When we decide we're going to forgive, we have to let those things go. Not to say, okay, like, I'm just going to erase it. No, it's like, you forgive, yeah, you don't forget, you heard that saying. But when you're in that space and you're participating in that interaction, you don't need to judge a person, okay, from past experiences. If you are willingly putting yourself through another go around with that, right? Because you could very much well say, no, I ain't doing it, and move on, right? And so there's this need to kind of understand that. And especially because, I feel like just overall, people don't like being judged by what they did in their past because they feel like they've changed or they deserve a second chance. Everybody deserves a second chance, they feel. And so it's this energy of having to do that. So it's like you go into the relationship, you're already judging this person. And so you're completely blocking this person from being able to change or to grow or to show any type of new abilities or offer anything new to the table, because it's like you don't want to be open to that. Okay? And so if they mess up, even just a little bit, it's like, I knew it. You see? This is why I should have never done it. It's just like, whoa, like, what the heck? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I came a minute late, 2 minutes late. I couldn't show up this weekend. I'm sorry. Like, it doesn't mean I was, like, it just it's like saying that there's like a hole in the wall somewhere, right? And then you just cover it with like a poster, right? And you say like, yeah, it's gone. And then you just constantly, like, it's still there. It's not completely gone. It's still there. It's just masked. And so I feel like for some, it's this energy of that level of masking. So anything that a person can kind of get, their spidey senses is tingling, right? They're like, nah, like, I don't trust it, or whatever the case may be, off with their heads, or whatever the case may be. Like, it kind of feels like that. And so I feel like with this 10 of Pentacles in the reverse, this is the vibe that I'm getting here, where it's just like, a person is trying to show themselves, right? Show whether they changed or whether they've matured or whether they've gained a new skill or whatever, right? They're trying to, but they already feel, and this is what I was thinking about too. I was looking at a video where, what is it called? Group conformity, right? Or no, it wasn't group conformity. I started off watching that, but it was another video where a guy who, there was a girl. It started off with a girl. She was shooting she was making shots. She wasn't doing so good. They blindfolded her. The people on the sidelines, they was cheering her, egging her on, begging her up, making her think that she made every shot. And so when they removed the blindfolds, her confidence grew. And so when she when she was doing the shots, she missed the first two, but they was still giving her, instilling confidence in her and all that stuff like that. And then she made the shot, right? So there's a difference. There's a shift in a person's awareness and belief in themselves and their capabilities. But then, whereas like when the guy came and he was shooting and he was making he made 9-10 shots in a row. They blindfolded him. He missed. They was booing him. They removed the blindfolds from him. He made the shot. They asked, do you think he's gonna make it? They was like, no. They just completely booed the guy, just made him feel less of himself enough to question his abilities. And then he started to miss the shots. And so it was just even if he was amazing in the beginning, it was just I don't even want to, it's not that maybe it's not that he didn't believe in, he lost belief in himself or his capabilities. It's just that the crowd just made the space and in the environment so uncomfortable that he wasn't willing to try anymore. Right. And so it's kind of that kind of vibe that I'm getting. And I'll see if I can remember which video it was that I saw, and I'll name it the title. But it kind of feels like that, where it's just if you're giving a person a second chance and then you're just not willing to allow them to just, be themselves or whatever the case may be. It's a person feels okay, you know what, you're not even rooting for me. I don't even want to do with this. You know what I'm saying? And so this could be, sometimes this happens with parents and children, right? I've had that issue a lot of times with my mom, where it's just I believed in my heart that I was a really good person and all these kinds of things. But my mom, she made me question these things. And, for a really long time, I dealt with anger and aggression and all that stuff. And it's just you see, I always told everybody that she was a B, and this, that, and the third, and that, all that, that good act it was the, that was just a cover up and all that stuff like that. And it really made me feel ashamed, so much so to the point where I just didn't, even the fact that I wanted to try and come across as nice and sweet and stuff like that. Like, I felt like I was being fake. I felt like everybody was just going to judge me and feel like, no, like, we already see. And I had a slip up, like I was going through a lot at the time. And so in a lot of ways, I felt like I was being put in a corner, and I just needed to break free from that. And so the act of me breaking free kind of like, it was like a snapshot moment in order to prove, like, you see what I mean? Like, she's not a sweetheart. She's not the sweet little girl that you know and love, that you've seen raise, right? Like, I told you she was mean. I told you she was this. And so for a really long time, I just had to continue, like, I just held on to that aggression and that anger and that and I internalized that a lot. And so now that I'm pregnant with my daughter, like, I have to, like, it's like I really needed to learn to break free from that. I don't need to continue to hold anger in my heart and resentment in my heart and blame in my heart and anything like that. And a lot of things, one of the things that made me realize that I am a good person is the fact that I've been through so much with people, and I haven't gone, like, berserk, you know what I'm saying? Like, I still, like, when I'm in their spaces, I'm still respectful. No matter how disrespectful they were to me, I'm still respectful. And that's one of the things that that I was proud of myself, which is like, no matter what happened to me, no matter what people did to me, I was always respectful. And so it's just me learning how to get back to that, because now at this point in my life, I'm being, and I won't word it that way. I'm being forced to be in their spaces again, but it's like the universe is bringing me towards, their spaces again. And I've had to learn to forgive them and to let go of any kind of negative emotions that has been tethered to me through the experience and the exchange that I've had with them, so that I can have a personal peace of mind, right? And just being able to be in those spaces with those same people and no longer think of them as the predator or the antagonist or the villains or whatever. Like, it brings me so much power onto myself, right? Even if, like, at the end of the day they still don't like me, they're still gonna disrespect me, they're still gonna say whatever they're gonna say about me, like, that just says a lot about them and how they personally feel. For me, I'm doing A-okay. And, another thing that I'm really proud of, too, is just how I've been able to grow in my relationship and, in my marriage, how I've been able to utilize my husband being with me as a tool to, work on myself and do a lot of tweaks and changes and healing, by ways of healing, so that I can continue to be my best self and I can strive for my happiness and all that stuff like that, right? And a lot of times we don't see relationships that way. And so, yeah, depending on, where things are at in your houses, for me, my, my north node is in my 7th house. So it deals with a lot of relationships and me understanding that too. Because a lot of times before I was ignorant, I was like, why am I going through all these things? Or why am all these people doing these things to me? And da-da-da-da. Like, I don't understand. But it's so that I can utilize these interactions as tools in order for me to grow and to mature and to evolve, elevate, spiritually grow, all that kind of stuff, right? And so one of my biggest growths came from the interactions I've had with a lot of people. My mom, having to forgive my mom, having to forgive my stepdad, having to forgive my husband many a times, having to give his mother, having to forgive my friends, and how that has impacted me positively, right? I'm not perfect, it's still a learning process, but it's a beautiful process, and me being aware of that just makes it so much more easier, because when I wasn't aware of these things, it really felt like just everybody was just against me, beating me up, just I was a true victim, I felt, and during those times. But that's neither here nor there. I feel like I just kind of went left there. But anyways, that's what the Ten of Pentacles feels in that sense. Okay, we have the Chariot here. Okay, and so a lot of action, right, will stem from that Ten of Pentacles here being in the reverse. And then with this Eight of Swords here in the reverse is this unwillingness to let that go, right? And so depending on what this is that's going on here, hopefully we'll get it with the past, is this energy of having to let that go, because this could really kind of come in and really make things difficult for a person. Okay. So look at what we have here. Ace of Cups, the Empress, and Three of Swords. Okay. Heartache. And it's an embarrassing kind of heartache. Okay, it's an embarrassing kind of heartache where a person, this could be many scenarios. This could have been like a relationship of some sort. A person has, they've gotten pregnant or whatever, and then with the Three of Swords, there may have been cheating, infidelity, backstabbing energy, abandonment, it could be, outside of relationships where it's just like a person has like, they have a dream job or whatever. And this is something that they could be really creative at. And then it's like they had to, maybe they got fired, or they got laid off, or it just feels like life was just going really great. And then bam, like things just kind of like abruptly ended. And it kind of took a hit, like a person had to take a hit with this situation. All right, so in the heart space in the upside down, okay, these things wanted to come out. It was not letting me, so we'll take this. This is a lot, so let's unpack this. Ace of Swords, Eight of Pentacles, the Lovers, the Star, Knight of Cups. So, okay, it feels like when it comes down to the situation, it's this energy of playing it's playing sides here with this Ace of Swords. So what I mean by playing sides is whether a person only believes in only the good or only the bad in a situation, right? So if a person only believes in the good in a person, right, then it leaves them ignorant to the other side of a person, right? Everyone has a light and dark side to themselves, right? And so a person could just be completely ignorant to these things. And so when they are exposed to something dark in that sense, it's hard to accept. It's hard to receive it as truth. It's hard to understand, okay? Or it could be on the other side where it's like it can really truly shatter a person's perspective. We're just like, I would have never, like, parents do that, like, I'm so disappointed in you, I would have never thought, right? It's like that kind of feeling where it's just like, dang, like, oh man, like I really hurt this person. And so that is traumatic. That's a traumatic experience or exchange in itself, where it's just like, sheesh, like that hurts. Like, I can't believe, like, I'm sorry. And, you feel ashamed and you feel guilty, and then you start to hate yourself a little bit about that. Or like when a person tells you, like, and it's just like, oh man, right? That kind of stings. Okay. If you only think of the bad in people, then it's like when they try to do good, it's like you don't really want to give them second chances, right? So it's like a person gets out of jail or whatever the case may be, and there's like a company, they get funding from some kind of like some kind of organization or whatever that's like, oh, if you hire, a felon or whatever the case may be, you get this kind of reimbursement or whatever. I don't know about these kinds of things, but it's just an example, okay? And so they hire one, and then they're constantly surveilling them. They don't trust them. They only make them do sweeping floors, or or taking out the trash, or whatever the case may be, right? It kind of feels like that, where it's just like, okay, well, but what if the person has changed, right? And they want to get out of, they want to get away from that past, right? They want to get away from that label that's being placed on them, and it's like just stuck on them. It's like a, the back, like when you used to put like kick me in the back of a person. It's like trying to get it off and stuff like that. It's like I want to break free from that, but I'm not being given a fair shot or a chance, right? And it's like, it kind of feels like that. And whatever reasons behind those, like, it's understandable. Look, I'm not here to judge. I'm just talking about the energies that I'm pulling here. And so it kind of feels like that. And so it makes a person just lose the enthusiasm to want to try and do well for themselves, because it's like everything around them, or everything that they're involved in, is just constantly reminding them that they're a felon, or that they're a cheater, or that they're this, or that they're, whatever. You're from this side of the tracks. You're this hue or pigmentation. You're this sex. You're this level of intellect. You're a believer in this. You did this 6 years ago. Or whatever the case may be. Like, it kind of feels like that, where it's just like, I'm trying to get away from it. But because it's in the heart space and the upside down, it's really not being able to be in the middle, right? And it's like a person can't help but pick a side here. Okay? And so, yes. So we have that. We also have the Eight of Pentacles. So the inability to be able to work on whatever that is. Next to it is the Lovers. So Gemini's energy. But we know the Lovers is about union, but also too about choices, right? So making choices that could potentially be really, really great for one's own life, right? So it's like, if I would have given up on my relationship a long time ago, like, I wouldn't have been able to receive the character growth that I have acquired, right? Or in just in life, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I would have given up on so many things, I'm robbing myself from that experience and from that character growth. And so a lot of times people don't want to have to go through these things, because it's just like, I just don't want to deal with it. But then we find ourselves having to be placed in those things in other cycles and in other situations, right? So like, it kind of feels like that. Okay, so it's this inability here with this Lovers here and this Star here, aka Aquarius energy, to believe in anything possibly good. Okay, with this Knight of Cups. Okay, and so this is, in a lot of ways, this level of judgment. It makes it difficult for a person to really just try to do good, onto themselves, or, for themselves, or for the group, or for the person. Heart space in the upright. Let's see what's going on here. Heart space in the upright. We have here the Tower, the Fool, and the Sun card here. Listen, like, there's a struggle here. Like, if we're talking example, relationship vibes, if a person is coming back and they want to give them a second chance, there's a part where it's just like, I don't want to forgive them. I don't want to believe that they're capable of doing anything better or changing, or whatever the case may be. Once a cheater, always a cheater, whatever, right? But then they still bring them around. They still deal with them. They still dabble with them. But it's like, there's a part of a person that wants to be able to let that go here with the Tower, okay? Be open to a second chance or a new beginning here with this Fool, okay? So much so that a person is willing to just, it's like, it wants to let it all go, and just be, and just try again. And it's like, even wishing that, like, they never had to have to had to have experienced that with them in the first place, because there's a part of them that really truly sees the light, some kind of light in a person here with the sun, aka Leo energy. Maybe it could be whatever kind of realization that a person comes over, whether it's like there's something about you that I recognize, but I can't put it down on paper, but there's a connection here, whether the connection is an actual living young being, like a child, right, and wanting to do for the sake of the children, or for potential. I feel like there's like the feeling of potential. There's a potential here. I can't put my finger on it, but it's like I want to, but I don't know here. We have the Temperance energy. Okay, Sagittarius energy again. Two of Swords. Four of Swords. Okay, Three of Cups. Okay, so I feel like there is a meetup that takes place here. Six of Pentacles here. There is a meetup. There is a coming together here. After thinking about it, struggling, thinking on it, sleeping on it, whatever, a person decides we can go on a date, or we can work something out here, whether this is casual or whatever the case may be. Okay, it feels like a coming together. All right, so we're gonna take a little bit of a break, and then we'll come back with the advice from Spirit. Okay, I know I seem like I'm rushing through this now, but I'm running out of time before my recording stops. So what we have here Urus. Okay, so let's see, what is the advice here? All right. So it says here, Urus, so ox, strength, a symbol of brute strength and power. The wild ox of ancient times was both revered and feared because it was wild. The rune is a symbol of physical power, vitality, and good health. It can also suggest great emotional courage. If you're going through difficult times, you must find the creativity inside yourself to pull through. You have great power within you, and you need to unleash that power. When you do, there is no stopping you. This is also a rune about the need to take a risk and not to fear change. But conversely, it may also be urgent caution. Energy that is misdirected can do great harm to both yourself and others. So ensure that your words and actions do not wound or result in chaos, but rather in healing and peace. Okay? So let's get a crystal / gemstone card for you guys. All right, so that's fire signs, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius energy. All right, so you guys have here pyrite, so luck, prosperity, and success. The gold standard when it comes to crystals. Pyrite attracts abundance, wealth, and prosperity, known as fool's gold. Pyrite encourages you to follow your dreams and envision your desires. Manifesting powers are high when this crystal is at play. Pyrite has that spark, literally. Pyrite can create fire when struck against another stone or metal, and is believed to contain the element of fire in its core. Pyrite also acts as a powerful protector, shielding you from negativity and protecting the integrity of your aura. Strike fast and don't look back. Leo and Mars. We also have here calcite, so amplify, cleanse, and open. It says here double trouble. Calcite has a unique optical quality. When you are looking through the stone, it appears doubled. Calcite can amplify energy for higher awareness and healing, pairing well with other crystals and taking on their attributes to increase their metaphysical abilities. A powerful dissolver, calcite transforms negative energy for release and renewal. It also aligns the chakras, cleansing the aura of toxicity and renewing energy flow. Calcite reminds you that there is always a new beginning. You just have to decide when to start. Cancer and Venus, all right? So we're going to close this out with a self-care card. All right, sorry about that. That's my chair. So we have here rituals. So it says steady yourself with simple rituals. Do the dishes, fold laundry, water the plants, make a cup of tea. Let wisdom sneak up on you. Sorry. sneak up on you. Let wisdom sneak up on you. We have reassess. You have the right to change your mind. We have ease. Today, I allow life to be easy. And then we have success. Today is a really good day. You're in the flow. Problems are solved quickly and easily. Helpful people show up for you, and unexpected gifts fall into your lap. All right, fire signs. So that is all that I have for you all out there for this week. I hope I was able to help you out in any way, shape, or form. Good luck to you all on your amazing journeys. Until next time, peace.